Okay, well, welcome everybody to our call tonight. We're so excited to get together for our weekly calls. It's been a while. We've had to kind of take a break, but tonight we have Kailani Miller. She is our Gold Ambassador, and I'm so excited. She's going to be sharing with us about a really great tool. It's called the Four Circle Method. And those of you guys who, if you haven't read this book by Presley Swaggerty, Millionaire by Halftime, that's where some of the information is coming from, but it's an excellent book. He covers a bunch of different topics and skills that are really important to perfect in network marketing. And so this is one skill in particular that is going to be really helpful for us as we're trying to invite potentials to try our product or listen to us and listen to our opportunity. And I'll tell you what, Kailani is, she hustles hard. She reads stuff, she puts it into practice, so she knows what she's talking about. She's a great person to share this kind of information. She's excellent at follow-up, and she's excellent at reaching out to people on her Franks list and doing it in a really smart and effective way. So I'm super excited for her to be sharing, and I know she's got some PowerPoint and stuff planned for us, and we will have some time at the end to ask questions and kind of bounce ideas around each other or off of each other. So Kailani, I'm going to hand it off to you, and we're just excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Awesome. So, thanks guys, just for taking time out of your busy schedule to check in with us. Probably, just some background on this, probably about 6 months ago, as I was trying to reach gold, I was thinking to myself, what am I doing in my business and what are my biggest fears? And probably one of my biggest fears was sitting down one-on-one with somebody and talking about Plexus. And the longer you work this business and the longer you work your Franks list, you'll see that there's going to be a time where you're going to have to sit down one-on-one and talk to people. And that's how our business is going to work. So Ashley had suggested the book, Halftime by Millionaire. And so after we read it together and just had conversation, there was a chapter that stood out to me. And so I just want to share what Presley Swaggerty has to say. So I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint real quick, and we'll go through that. And what I really want you guys to do is just kind of follow along with it. And as questions come to mind, maybe jot them down. And at the end, we can cover those things. Don't worry about trying to, write everything down, because this will be on our team page as well. Bear with me for a second. Hang on, that didn't work. Yay, everybody see? We're good? All right, good. Okay, so setting the appointment. And one of my aha moments when I was actually studying this was this quote in the beginning that just jumped out at me. And it says, if you're not getting in front of people, then your business isn't growing. And I use that quote just kind of as a reflection piece, because it's true. When you talk to all of the top leaders in the industry, they always talk about, sitting down, setting appointments, talking with people, sharing with people, and all of those things have to be done offline. And so let's just kind of move into it. So the why build this skill? Why spend any time learning how to set this appointment? From convention and everything else, we really talked about how important it is in relationships. And so since convention, I've really changed my mindset of Plexus as far as how much time I'm taking to build a relationship and get to know my potentials. And so the more that we can set an appointment and get to know them one-on-one, that relationship is going to begin to build. Once we move offline, our potentials can actually see our excitement, and they can actually see and feel our passion and our enthusiasm behind the products and the opportunity. So that's huge to be able to sit one-on-one with someone. And of course, it always comes down to and what we do is growing and doing something that allows us to actually get out of our comfort zone. And that's huge. Just some reminders for you guys to think about as we're going through the 4 circles is this all applies to once we have actually made our friends list. So it's important as you go through to really already have your list of 100 and to understand that your list of 100 is a living document. So, you'll add people and you'll take people away, but you always need to have it there and think about who you're going to invite to the product or the opportunity. I also want you to remember that, of course, there's several effective strategies. Some of us are seasoned, some of us are newbies. I don't want you to think that what I'm presenting tonight from Presley Swaggerty is the only way. This is just a really good jump start for us to get going. We also want to make sure that we understand that the 4 circles is all about setting the appointment, not sharing. And they really are truly 2 separate things. And we'll talk a little bit more about that because we want to set the appointment so that we have our potentials full attention and so that we are in control of the presentation and we're in control of what's happening. So the method itself. Bulleted here, you see the buzzwords that you will be using when you're sharing. So those words would be share and show, only just, may or may not, and 2 choices. When we all get really good at this method, we will be using all 4 circles interchangeably. They can be used in any order. Again, it is so important that we're enthusiastic, we're confident, we're strong about what we're presenting, we have our belief. And one thing that I have seen time and time again is sounding urgent. We want people to know that our business is booming. And so they need to take that time to set an appointment and listen to what we have to say. Okay, so the first circle, share and show. In this method, you're actually going to tailor your invitation to the person based upon what you actually know about them. And sometimes when we start our business on Facebook sharing, it can be kind of tricky. So I just encourage you, check out their Facebook page a little bit more to see what's going on in their life, what motivates them, what drives them, why would they want to be a part of this business. And once you have that down, it'll actually allow you to be just more genuine, more comfortable when you're actually approaching them. And so as far as what to say, you would just want to say, hey, Ashley, I have a business deal that I want to show you. Or you could say, like if the person's a stay-at-home parent or a mom or whatever, I have some information that was shared with me and I just really want to share it with you. And that in the appointment setting, you leave it at just those phrases. Okay, so we don't want to add more and more and more because we know sometimes we keep it short and simple. That's going to grab their attention. So that's the first circle. The next circle that you could use, and we'll see how they all go together, but for them. And a lot of times we know people want to feel like they have an out. And so then that way they don't have to feel like it is all on them if, they say yes or no. So they feel comfortable. They don't feel like you're being pushy, but actually you kind of are being a little bit more aggressive in this particular technique. Just like I said, it leaves them to have an out. And so you could just say, hey, Johnny, you may or may not be interested, but I have something that I would like to share with you. So you can already see how the circles are coming together. As we said, may or may not, but then we also added that keyword of just sharing. And that allows them to have that choice or to feel like, it may not be for me, but I'm going to listen to you anyway because I see you're excited and I trust you as a person. two choices. When you read his book, he says that this is the most important. So the last one was very important, but this one's the most important. I thought that was kind of funny how he put that in there. But it's two choices because this one really resonated with me because it's so true. If you give me a choice between A or B, I'm going to choose one or the other. So if we're given a choice, we are more likely to make that choice and actually respond. I feel like a lot of times when we try to set appointments or we try to share with people, we don't get any response, and it all just goes kind of back to the way that we set it up or the way that we ask those questions. And he says, for example, if you ask a prospect, hey, do you want to come to a sip and see or an opportunity meeting? You know, it's easy for them to get out of it. It's easy for them to make an excuse why they can't, even if they do want to be a part of it. But if you give them a choice, they feel like they're in control of the situation. And I don't want you guys to take the control factor as a negative. It's a lot of psychology. It's just how we are and it's how we're built. And something that you could say would just, you know, what day works better for you this week? Mondays or Tuesdays? Are you an afternoon person or a morning person? Because I really have something that I want to share with you. And I can attest to say this for sure. The more that I have used the two choices, I've had way more success in getting a follow-up or getting a quick like coffee date or just like dropping in with somebody versus just saying, hey, I have something that I want to share with you. When can we meet? Those types of things don't allow for the conversation to be extended. And when we give them that choice, they're more likely to say something. So this is kind of like the really cool part of all of it is when you use all those circles together, and the more that you practice this, the more natural it's going to sound. So these are just like generic little script things that were included in the book. Of course, you're going to use your awesome personality and your spunk to put your flavor on it. But this was just one, you know, hey, Joe, I have something that I want to share with you. Of course, you may or may not be interested. Good thing is I only need about 20 minutes. So we're going to get together on Tuesday or Wednesday. And so as you're having that conversation, you've used all four of your circles together and you've done everything. You've made sure that they know you're just sharing. You're not obligating them to anything because, of course, it may not be for them. But also, too, you're asking them that question at the end, which I think is so important to find out what's actually going to work for them. Ashley, you may or may not be interested, but I really have something. I just got to show it to you. I'm so excited. It's going to take 20 minutes. So can we get together on, you know, Saturday morning or afternoon? Okay. If I'm talking to someone, I know that they're going to respond in one way or the other because I've given them that choice. Okay. So I think you guys get the idea there on that. So as I was reading, which you guys might be thinking too, is, okay, I've done this kind of before and I've said some things like this. And then instantly the person is like, well, can you just tell me about it? And we really want to have that control. We don't want to mislead them in any way because we trust them. We care about this person. We're coming from a good place and we're genuine people. We act with responsibility, integrity, when we're sharing our Plexus products and business. But we also remember that we still have to have that actual plan of how we're going to get that person to sit and listen with us. So, you know, even just like today, I was telling someone about it, and that was one of the first things that they said. Even though I used the 4 circles, first thing that they said was, well, what is it really? Just tell me a little bit more about it. So if that happens, just answer and be truthful. Well, sure, I definitely will tell you more, but go back and ask them, do you have 15 or 20 minutes right now, or would it be best to talk tomorrow? And just really emphasize that, you know, if they don't have time, go back to the 4 circles of actually trying to set that appointment, because what we do is so important. The opportunity and the products are so just phenomenal that we want to have confidence. We don't want to be caught off guard. We want their attention to be, you know, just on us and whatever we're sharing, whatever aspect of the business. And just be honest with them. You know, this is a business opportunity that's phenomenal. It's kind of a visual thing. I don't want to just tell you real quick about it because I don't have everything, I don't have all my visuals ready. I'm just not ready. Be honest with them and let them know. And just remind them that if you sit down one-on-one, they'll truly understand why you're so passionate about the products, because that's going to allow you to share more with them. So this kind of goes into how we use our opportunity brochure booklet, the what if this could change everything. This is huge, okay? So if you guys haven't been spending a lot of time looking over that success kit, remember when we went to convention, they really drove home how important it is that we're using these materials. And so I spent some time with them. And so when you actually land that one-on-one meeting with them, you want to have your what if this could change everything. You don't have to have a ton of products. You don't have to have everything, because you have yourself. And I've read time and time again, and I'm sure our Ruby Ashley could attest to this. It's your excitement that is going to drive the presentation, and it's going to drive them to make a decision to either join your team or become one of your top customers. So make sure that you're using the booklet, and you want to be familiar with it, so you can point out those important words and phrases that are bolded. And the reason why I say that is because when I just glanced through it and you actually look at it to use it in a presentation, it's awesome because it opens up with a message from our CEO. So right off the bat, your prospect gets to see the vision of who's running this company and who's behind it and what their vision is long term. It also allows you to, if you haven't, to then go in and tell them your why. Why are you doing Plexus? Why are you in this? Let's see. So yeah, and also the history is like on the second page, and a lot of people, especially if they're very business oriented, they want to know a little bit about Plexus, and it's bulleted right there. The important, what I call buzzwords of that opportunity brochure, booklet, whatever you want to call it, are bolded. So even if you were nervous and you couldn't figure out what to say, when it says what is Plexus worldwide, you could just glance at that as you have the brochure and the prospect, and just say, just at a glance, we're a health and wellness company. We really believe in having a healthy lifestyle. We've got over 300,000, independent ambassadors that share this belief, and then go from there. And once you get used to kind of looking at that, it'll make you feel more comfortable. What makes us different, again, if you haven't had the opportunity to share your story, it would be a great time in your presentation to do that then. And if you feel like I don't have that story that is powerful enough, borrow someone's story. There are tons of stories that are powerful. So choose which one you want and go with it. Again, you're using your enthusiasm, and that's what's going to drive the presentation. Another key thing was, how do I earn with Plexus? I can tell y'all one thing that I did in the beginning was I told them about our comp plan before they really signed up, and it meant nothing, because it doesn't. It's too overwhelming. It's too much information. And what I like on this page is that it just says, how can you make $300 in your first month? And I would say that if any of us made $300 in our first month, we would feel like that was successful, because we're on the products, we're feeling good, and we've got some cash in our pocket. So don't spend too much time on the comp plan. That's just my tidbit on that. And then where it says what happens next, I feel like sometimes maybe that's where we bow out, or maybe we get a little nervous, but you did it. You went through your presentation. Now close it and ask that person, okay? Ask them if they're ready to join the team. And the more that you get bold in that, and I did a one-on-one probably back in March with Ashley, and she asked some just amazing questions that I hadn't thought about. And one of those questions was, what's life-changing money for you? And I had never really thought about being that bold and asking someone, but you get some responses that sometimes senior gold money is life-changing for that person. And so we have to remember to go ahead and close that deal and kind of see where it's going from there. We don't want to spend our time sharing and never ask the question and then just kind of get up and leave. Be ready to answer their questions. Don't be afraid of a question. If you don't have the answer, you can always pass it to your upline and just say, you know what, I don't know all this, but it's a good question. I'm going to find out. Close with confidence and gratitude. I say gratitude because we do live in an extremely busy society. Sometimes we make it busier than we should. And if you get the opportunity to share your products, our products, in this business with somebody, at the end, just say gratitude. Because if they don't sign up with you, one, you have gotten the opportunity to grow as a person, because I know how fast my heart beats when I share with someone. Two, they're eventually going to either ask you more about it or they're going to tell someone else. So, just always have gratitude in that. One thing too, don't end the conversation at your one-on-one with Plexus, because we want to make sure that we're learning more about that person. Somebody says, yes, they want to join the team. Great. No, I don't want to join the team. Great. Continue to talk and listen with the prospect in order to further build the relationship, because we know that it's going to take more than one time than hearing about Plexus or our products to commit. All right. So remember, no just means not now. So I have a little homework challenge, okay? And this wasn't like, oh, Kailani's homework challenge. This was Presley's Fire Days challenge. Just find someone. Find a friend, a spouse, someone that you trust, business partner, and really start role-playing. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I'm going to tell you, if you have somebody in your family that will ask you just to poke fun at you and kind of mess with you and ask you tons of questions, you'll be surprised what you'll come up with through practicing that. So really practice those phrases of share, show, only, just. Look in the mirror. I was always kind of told that just in the teaching field, doing presentations. Look in the mirror. Pay attention to your voice tone, how confident you are, your gestures and things like that you do. Because we want the 4 circles to sound like you. We don't want it to sound like the text that's written in the book, but we do want to include those key phrases and words. So the more that you practice, the more comfortable that you will be. So I believe that is the end. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay.
Okay, just unmute. Great job, Kailani. That was so good. So good. And I'm freezing up again. Let me see if I can unmute everybody. I'm just going to wait.
I really liked that, Kailani. I really did. So, and I think that'll help me a whole lot when I go to Sharon, because I know sometimes reaching out to people that I've not reached out to before is one of the hardest things for me. Mm-hmm. So kind of having, some ideas in my head and practice it and everything, that is a good thing. So, because I'm one of those people that I get nervous and I'll freeze up.
Yes.
So.
And Pam, too, what I noticed with myself is if I sit there and try to figure out what I'm going to say all day, like 20 minutes has passed by and I haven't done it. And so what I really like is just, having those, and you can just like kind of save them as a text. If you didn't pick up the phone and invite them, just save it as a quick text. It's like 2 lines, and it'll allow you to actually use it instead of trying to figure out what I'm going to say.
Yeah. And I'm sure, too, that probably the more you practice it and the more you hear it come out of your own mouth, the more natural it's going to feel every time you do it.
Definitely.
I may have missed that. I don't know what she asked because I got my thing froze. But when you're doing that 4-circle method, do you tend to message that, or are you doing a voice messenger? Are you sending it via, typing out message and then following it up with a voice, or how do you usually send that?
I've been doing it using like the voice, because it's easier, and it goes back to the enthusiasm aspect, because they get to actually hear me, especially if it's someone that I haven't talked to in a while, like some of my friends, like, especially in Oklahoma that I haven't talked to, and maybe we've messaged a couple times about plexus. I can still go back and use this and just maybe add, hey, it's been a while since we talked, but I'm still excited and I really want to share this with you.
Yeah. Well, it was excellent. I mean, the method is great, but even just the way that you broke it down and kind of just talked through, because it on paper, you hear it and you're like, yes, this sounds really good. But I think the thought and the idea of practicing, I mean, we say that even with telling your plexus story and keeping it really nice and short, you've got to get comfortable doing that, so that when you're on the spot, you don't freeze up, that you know what to say and it just rolls off your tongue, super natural, super confident, super excited. And it's the same with this, because it's a lot of the times this is new for people. This isn't something that we have ever done. And so it's a growing experience, and it definitely getting you out of your comfort zone. And so I know it might seem silly, but that's how, the more I practice things with plexus, it's easier for me. I mean, I do that. I role play like 3-way calls with like nobody else. I'm like talking to myself, but I practice it because because I know what's in my heart and I want it to come out, but I know that I get really fumbled up if I can't like just breathe deep. Like, you've said this 100 times, just say it again. That's all you're doing is you're just saying it again. So, I jotted down a ton of stuff because there were so many really great points, but I think I love that you suggested using our brochure, our Opportunity of a Lifetime brochure, because one of the things they talked about a lot at convention, they have poured a ton of money, not just into that tool, but to so many of our brochures and all of our marketing tools. And they kept saying over and over that they want us to be the messenger and not the message. And so I think even with this tool, it's that same idea of setting that appointment so that you can get face-to-face, phone-to-phone, whatever it is, so you can be the messenger. So you can share your heart, you can share your story. I think that's a great tip, is to use that opportunity brochure to, even if you're on the phone with someone, just to have it in front of you to refer back, to kind of work off of an outline, so to speak, I guess. Not to read it necessarily, but just to kind of give you a comfort and knowing, what, like, our products are amazing and our comp plan is amazing, but you don't really need to get into all the details and the ingredients and the science. You don't need to break down the comp plan form. You just need to share from your heart, and sharing your story and your why. And I think, Kailani, you had said, telling your story. And if you feel like you don't have one, share somebody else's. And I think that's a great tip, but also, don't be afraid to share even the smallest things that Plexus has helped you with. Those small things might be small to you, but to somebody else, they're huge. It may be the very thing they've been, praying, if I could only sleep at night, or, have the energy to make it through the afternoon with my kids after work, or whatever. So sometimes those huge transformations, we're waiting on those, but that's not what's going to catch the attention or the heart of somebody else. So anyway, just awesome. That you did a fantastic job. I loved all of that.
Well, thanks, guys.
Does anybody else have any questions about that, or anything that didn't really make sense that you want clarification on?
Do any of you guys ever use a text, or it doesn't have to be the magic text? Do any of y'all ever reach out to people by text or private message? That's not a voice message.
I do all the time. Like, I literally, I was looking at my Franks list, and it's like marked up, highlighted, marked up. And I was like, oh, well, I need to get some new people on my list, because I literally can say that I sent them that magic text. The magic text, I really, which is kind of like may or may not be, when it goes back to the full circle. I've really used that a lot with the top 10, or the people that I want on my dream team, the people that I found that really have a lot in common with myself and my goals and kind of our team. And I do. I just message it, just like that. I think the key in any message is making sure that you end with a question. And that's only my, my personal experience. If I end with a question, more than likely I get a response.
Mm-hmm. Is your is that text that you use, Kailani, is it similar to that one, or would you text it to me?
Yeah, I mean, the one that I've used the most is the Emily Roberts magic text. This may or may not be for you, but I think you would make an incredible rock star on my Plexus team. Can we talk today or tomorrow? Mm-hmm. And you can, and if you think about it, it's a lot like the 4-circle method. Mm-hmm. She compliments them. She wants to know when they can do it. She gives them the 2 choices and may or may not be. So, it's very similar to that. But it's kind of something when I reach out to someone that, Ashley and I had talked about before, is you want to compliment them or kind of just do a quick little one-liner. Something I've used before when I message someone, thanks for all the Facebook love that you're giving me. I see that you're liking my posts, or, talk about whatever's going on. And if you don't have a Facebook page, and maybe that'll trigger something. Maybe they just went on a trip. They took before you go into the other part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, the may or may not, I mean, that's excellent for, even if it's someone who you're just trying to get them to try the products. I mean, I use that even with people who have asked me about product, and, maybe I'll share a little bit and I'm like, okay, we're kind of stalling out. They're not messaging back. And really what I want is I want to get on the phone with them, because I want to tell them, I want them to hear my belief and my confidence in these products. I know that a lot of people, meeting face to face, it's not going to happen. Maybe we don't even live in the same place, but I just want 15 minutes of their time on the phone. And so if I've shared a little bit about the premise, of what our products are about, I use that may or may not, I know these products may or may not be something you're ready to try, or I know these products may or may not be for you. I mean, I think that, I think they are, but just giving them that out of, you can tell me no, because I've already in my mind, I know that that's an option that you might say no. And I put it out there. And so, this may or may not be the right time for you, but I would love to talk to you and share with you a little bit more about these products. Do you have some time this evening or tomorrow? And again, back to those 2 choices. And you might have to do that method several times with the same person before you get them on the phone or in a face-to-face meeting with them. But I think it's a very non-threatening. I mean, it just feels very non-threatening to the person on the other end, because you've kind of set it up as, we're still going to be friends no matter what. This may or may not be for you. And truly, that is the truth. It may or may not be something that they're ready to do. And that doesn't mean that you're going to stop liking their stuff on Facebook or not be their friend. It just means the timing's not right for them, and that's okay. So yeah. I love that. That little bitty line is, I think, so powerful. Mm-hmm. So good. I wrote something else down I was going to say, and I can't remember now. Anybody else have any questions for Kailani?
I just want to say, hey, Tiffany.
You're on mute, girl. Here, let me unmute you.
Hey, girl.
I wish you were closer so you could decorate some stuff for me.
I know.
I'd be like, can you decorate my classroom? It's coming up.
Can you bring me some flowers?
I know.
Beautiful arrangements.
I keep getting flower jobs. I'm loving it.
That's
good.
You do a really good job. I like that creativity.
Thank you. You did a great job tonight. Thanks for the info.
Definitely.
I just see your face.
I know. That's why I get all excited when I see Shawnee people.
I know. I wish you could come to our dinner next Monday.
I know. And pizza, really? I'm like, I'm missing out.
Just drive up. You're on summer break.
Yeah.
Just hop in the car.
You got to come to Shawnee sometime.
I know. I was telling Yvonne the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, Yvonne, you know what's going to happen? like, we're going to know an Emerald soon. Like, Ashley's going to be Emerald. And then she'll have so much time and she can just like come down to Colleen.
I will. I will. I love it. I've already talked to Pam about that too. Pam, like, when do you get to start traveling?
Miles on the Lexus will be happening.
We'll just go cruise. We can't cruise the Pooh. What can we cruise in?
You need you one of those little Jetsons cars.
Yeah. Like fly there super fast.
Oh, I'm so much older than y'all. Do y'all even know what the Jetsons are?
Yes.
No. I need to stop my recording really fast. I just realized. Hold on, let me